This video is not going to be me telling you don't use feminine wash. Actually, we're going to approach things differently today. Hygiene is complicated, but in 30 minutes time, we can simplify it and feel more confident about how we do things. You see, if you improve the systems, then the outcomes become a lot more predictable and they can make you feel more confident. And feeling confident is important. Becoming a woman is a big deal, and the two things should go hand in hand. But exactly how do you do that? I'm here with a series called Womanly. You know, we're expected to focus on a lot of focus, and thank you for your attention today. That said, how could a girl really focus on herself and her dreams if she's preoccupied with her hygiene? We're going back to basics today because we learned these things, but did we really? This series is called Womanly Girl. It's a sub-series because we are taking it back in time to something that's simple but not so simple. If you like this video and you'd like to see more from the Womanly series, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. I do like to know how you feel. Let's get started. And by the way, I really wanted to make this video for a long time, so I'm just really happy that you're here. Thank you for watching. One interesting thing about hygiene for me is you always have to be ready to do it again and again and again. It never can be mastered because you have to do it every single day. Even if you do a great job at it, you have to do it again. It's not something you're ever done at. And it's interesting that your brain plays a huge role in being able to start a task. We think about hygiene as the way that we smell, but really it's about the way we do things and getting started on anything, whether it's organizing papers or putting on clean clothes. Doing anything related to hygiene requires executive cognitive function. And guess what? When we have things that stress our brains out, cognitive function becomes difficult. And that's why if you're experiencing depression, for example, or attention issues, and I'm sorry if you're experiencing depression right now, I understand what that's like. That's exactly why hygiene can often take a back seat. But hygiene as a practice can actually have a bit of a flip side in this situation. The good news is personal hygiene can serve to be a simple form of self-soothing. That's why taking a shower feels really good, right? But at the same time, there's things like anxiety, depression, any type of neurodivergence that can make hygiene actually a really big mountain to climb. And I have experienced that for myself. But in this video, I'm going to show you some of the hygiene mistakes that contribute to things not going well. And you don't need to buy new things for this. This is about how we do things. It's about assessing and compartmentalizing so that we have the mechanics of hygiene down. I thought about it. Who taught you to shower? And how did that go? In fact, a lot of people teach themselves how to hygiene. And when you think about it, it is kind of funny that the thing we learned when we were very young, that's when we learned all of our hygiene tricks. If you learned them at home, which not all of us did, and that's okay. But it eventually makes you realize that the skills you developed are the ones you might still have today, unless you kind of update or deepen the techniques that you're using to get yourself really clean. Now, learning more techniques, learning how to hygiene, if you will, is an incredibly worthwhile thing because hygiene isn't just how you smell, it's how you feel about yourself. It can affect your confidence and prove to be a big social barrier if you don't feel good about how you hygiene. Well, let's explain this with science. Body odor can be simply explained, but first, get out of the habit of thinking that you smell. You don't smell. There's a simple formula that explains why odor occurs, and that is odor equals sweat and bacteria. The value of breaking down why something happens is because you now have control over the variables. So rather than just thinking you have body odor, it's not actually that because you need both components. And if you didn't have sweat, for example, but you had just bacteria on like your clothing or on a toilet seat or touching your skin, and I'm not talking about the skin's natural bacteria, I'm talking about like buildup from the outside world, you need it to mix with some type of moisture, whether that's sweat or moisture in general, or even a water-based perfume, and the synthesis creates body odor. This can play out in feminine hygiene, nails, hair, literally everywhere. Let's get into the mistakes and how to fix them. Oh my God, okay, wait, this is so gross. Actually, I didn't know this, but at the same time, just like makeup brushes, I knew that it was like kind of important to clean my hairbrush and stuff. I mean, I would take the hair out of it, but this is like a whole nother level. And this is a very common hygiene mistake. The tools that we actually use to do things, they are important, right? Especially flat irons, for example, or curling wands. There's like hair in them, obviously, you can see that. But if you really look up close, Damn, it's like really intense. The level of buildup that meets the bottom of your hairbrush every time you brush your hair. This contributes to the opposite of clean scented hair. Your hair care routine is for getting your scalp and your hair clean itself, but to use dirty tools with bacteria on them on clean hair means that the first time you sweat, your hair is not going to smell good at all. So clean them. I use dish soap and hot water, and I pull out all the hair and clean my brush. But to have clean product scented hair, like the fragrance that's used in your products, you have to make sure there's nothing on your hot tools. So I use some rubbing alcohol. You can also use a baby wipe, but I make sure that I do this only when I'm not using the tool. So like it can't be hot, right? Because I don't want to burn myself. I don't want us to get burned, obviously. So I'm going to use this on the outside and get all of the hairspray and oil and just like product that's on my hands when I use this device. But most importantly, I'm going to go onto the plates, being careful not to scratch them, just wiping off all of the skin. You see this crusty fried skin that's like crispy, like chicken strips, like on my actual flat iron. Yeah, trust me, you probably have this on yours too. If you didn't clean it recently, it's going to make a huge difference in the way that your hair smells and the way that your hair feels. Look at that. Wow, I feel cleaner now that that's off. You know what I also like? I like this more and more like every day. It's like taking care of the stuff that I already have. It makes me like it more. It makes me feel like I got something new, but it's like just because I cleaned it and it's like fresh. How can I smell better down there? And like feminine hygiene questions like that are one of the most commonly searched things on YouTube right now. It's actually crazy because the number one piece of advice people get is just don't worry and don't, just take a shower. Don't use special soaps. It cleans itself in your private areas. So what's the deal with people having problems still? And that's actually true. You don't need any special soaps, but there's like a big misconception. And oh my God, Kate, this is like so like beyond, this is not what I thought I'd be saying to you right now, but like I have to say it. Sitting over bacteria filled steam on the toilet. Okay, let me back up for a second. People have daily habits. We have daily habits that contribute to what we might perceive as like a feminine hygiene thing, thinking that like there's discharge that has an odor when really that's not the case. We have habits like using the bathroom every day where you're sitting over, think about it, you're sitting over a bowl of steam with body heat. So there's like heat activated steam and a ton of bacteria that just has the opportunity to like go into your pores, into your skin, and kind of hit the whole area of your thighs and everything. So when you really think about this from a science perspective, if something could make a room smell not great and you sit in it and you sit over it with heat and then you add the moisture that can come from like all of the crevices that we have down there, it's just a bad combination for smelling great. And so that's why it's really important to flush more often, spend less time in the bathroom, and clean up using water when possible. It's not just hygiene, it's like girls' hygiene when you love beauty. So if you already love lipstick and getting your nails done, there might be things that you didn't like consider about those practices that are more hygiene related. Like, yeah, crap under your nails, how to fix these different problems. I really love the like colors. I think that's what's inspiring me mainly right now. When I think about the things we like to do, there's always like more to it, right? There's the part you love to do, which is in this case, getting our nails done. Didn't we just get older and then decide that we wanted to make our nails longer, get acrylics or different types of nails? But underneath the nail, underneath this beautiful manicure, can be like a really unappealing underside. And that is actually pretty ironic to me. I find it kind of funny because you have this beautiful manicure, but then like underneath the nails can get so gross looking. So it becomes this really weird juxtaposition of beauty and like horrible buildup, really. And the thing is, it doesn't happen because you don't wash your hands. Like using body cream, eating with your hands, I do that all the time. I actually prefer doing that. Working with your hands like every day, these things are just what cause the buildup underneath the nail. So it's not like anybody's doing anything wrong or not washing their hands, because trust me, I've had nail extensions and this still happens when I wash my hand like a million times. Do you ever see those ads on the internet where it's like this single mom uses this one simple trick? Like, I am that mom right now. I am a mom. I am that mom right now. Like, I'm using one simple trick to solve this problem, and it doesn't mean you don't have to buy anything. All you have to do is make sure that you give up the ghost on this like length of your nail underneath the nail extension, whether you're doing acrylic or dip or press on. Like, do not hold on to the length of your nail. I noticed that this is something we all want to do. It's like we want to keep our natural nails in like this like bridal ready state, even though we're putting a fake one on top. But it's like, don't do that, because the length of the nail underneath is exactly what creates the ledge. So you can get a really clean result if you just make sure that the nails are really, really short when you do an enhancement. It's a simple solution, one simple trick. And this is really what creates that elevated beauty effect when you have the style that's followed up with like really good hygiene. It just has an echo. And I like this thing. This is like my favorite little tool. I actually don't like that this one's wooden, but I owned a plastic one and it just broke. So getting a cheap one is a good idea, because I don't know, they just tend to break and be weird. But I use this in the shower. It's a little nail brush. It's intended for this purpose, and I like that about it because it reminds me to use it. This is one of those things that if you know, you definitely know, but I don't want to assume that everybody does. If you bought some skincare and it has ingredients in it that are good for your skin, of course you want to keep it stable, as they would say in chemistry, so that everything in it still works the way that it originally was meant to. Basically, it stays active. And if you like insert bacteria into a formulation of any product, it runs the risk of not being stable anymore. So we should use not our fingernails, because we see dirt can still be trapped under there even if we wash our hands. You should use your knuckle and just dip it in and apply it to your skin or your face. Easy. If you're enjoying the video so far, give it a thumbs up or thumbs down if you're not, and add your hygiene tips in the comments below. I think it was so exciting for me when I started wearing deodorant. I don't know why. Tell me if that's you too. But every day since, I've worn deodorant, and of course I've washed it off in the shower, but there is a buildup that occurs all the time since we apply deodorant all the time. Now, I'm going to do a reset on my armpits that are clean, but unshaved, unwaxed, unlasered, at least 24 hours before doing this, because we want to get the buildup off, but we also don't want to irritate our skin. Do you have like a chemical exfoliant product, like something, even if you use it on your face, like a serum, something that says renewing or has AHA acids in it, any type of exfoliating, not a bead type exfoliator, but like a chemical exfoliator, that type of product can be used on your armpits once a month. I only do this reset every so often, but it means that it's going to help on a really serious level to regenerate what lays beneath the surface. Now, if you're using a really liquidy exfoliator, use a moisturizer over top when you do this armpit reset routine. All I do is cleanse in the shower, and then over top of my armpits, which have not been shaved recently, take the product into the skin and like really let it absorb in. I massage it until it's almost dry, and then I'll put a big t-shirt on and I go to sleep without deodorant on. In fact, this reset is going to make you smell better, smell fresher, because you will just smell like less. There's less buildup, less toxicity in the skin, and so your deodorant's more effective when you do go to use it. This is the one thing that you might want to buy after watching this video. I don't know. I'm going to leave links below, by the way, just for any of the items I use. Remember how I was like, we learn most hygiene, at least the basic hygiene routines when we're younger? This is like one that is so simple, because brushing our teeth is something we did for a really long time since we were super young. But whether you've considered this or not, missing your tongue when you brush your teeth is actually a big mistake. I started scraping my tongue with a tool, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. It's really cool. I also noticed this when I was looking at makeup one time. It was like a lip thing, but I realized there's such a like, again, just like the nail thing where it's like the nails are beautiful, but underneath them is like filled with like chicken wing sauce. Like it's the same thing with lips. Lipstick or lip makeup can be so beautiful, But if when you're talking, there's like a coating on your tongue that just makes the tongue look unhealthy, it's like a weird mix, like the two things don't go together. So it's really important not only for hygiene and having fresh breath, but also just because it looks better to have a pink tongue. It's like a sign of health. We all have a toothbrush already, but this is like a tongue brush, and I suggest you get one. You can use your toothbrush to brush your tongue off if you don't want to buy something new. But I love this item. Like, this is one of those game changer items where if you haven't been brushing your tongue, if you haven't scraped it before and you get this, you're going to feel like a whole new woman. This is incredible because getting the teeth clean, that's really only one part of cleaning your mouth, getting your breath to be fresh. If you have like this tongue, which you do, it's like if it's not getting cleaned, then you're only getting half of your mouth clean and you have residual bacteria and stuff. Actually, when I got this, I started to take my oral hygiene more seriously. I even started flossing. The perfect oral hygiene routine makes a lot of sense, like mathematically. It just makes sense. I never wanted to floss my teeth, but then I learned about the fact that everything that's in between my teeth contributes to the way that I smell and the way that my teeth are in the long term. I started to floss more often. I do it like 4 times, maybe 10 times a month maximum. So that's a really big improvement. And then of course I brush my teeth. If you guys want a full video on the oral hygiene, let me know. And then this is when I go in and scrape my tongue. And then finally, I rinse using mouthwash. This one that I'm using has fluoride in it, so it will help strengthen the enamel, but sometimes I just use one that's like minty with some hydrogen peroxide. I think it had hydrogen peroxide. I wonder if that's good. I actually don't know if that's good or not, but I have this other one and I really like the way it is, but now I'm wondering. This hygiene mistake is, at its very worst, wearing dirty clothes, but if it's a scaled back version of this problem, it might look like not having clean clothes or not having the clothes you want to wear available because they're not clean. So if you don't do your own laundry because maybe you're young and you have somebody doing it for you in your family, well, that's one thing. And if you're in charge of doing your own laundry, you know what it's like. It's really boring, like really boring.
Multitasking queen, filming and doing laundry.
Like so many satisfying endings to problems we have, the solution lies in the system we put in place. So if somebody's currently doing your laundry for you and you find you don't have clothes clean in time, take the pressure off that person and just section out your items and do your own laundry. Everybody's going to reach a point where they have to do their own laundry, so it's good to start young and it gives you control over the outcome of having clean clothes to wear every single time you need them. But it's like you do your own laundry, I get it, right? Because so many of us already do, and it doesn't mean that we always have the stuff ready and you know it's on you. But what I realized for myself since I do my own is that having it all in a pile in the corner of the room, it makes it look like garbage. Like it makes it look like it doesn't matter. It's dirty clothes and I know I need to get to it, but it looks like it doesn't matter. But if I put this thing, it's just a little systemic change. I put this thing that hangs in my closet, so it almost looks like a piece of clothing. It looks important and it's so in my face that I can just see it's filled up. It's not like a bin in the corner. It's like an actual important part of my closet and I can see it's filled with dirty laundry. So that tells me right away it's time to do it. Okay, so you know how like you take something off and then you realize it either needs to be laundried or it doesn't, and you smell it usually, and you're like, does this need it? Like, is it still clean? That's the question. So I learned something when it came to sweat and bacteria, and I did that research that told me sweat is actually what activates the odor in bacteria. So it's those two things meeting together. That means that there could actually be bacteria present on an item that just smells like nothing, but that means that the next time you go to wear it and you sweat in it, it would smell immediately and maybe a lot. Let me just say this really quick. Okay, so the dot represents me wearing the pair of jeans, you wearing the pair of jeans. So you wore them today and then you wear them next week. And then after that, you wear them 3 days after that. And then the next day after that. So on that day, you actually notice that you're like, wow, I'm really sweaty. I don't smell good. It's weird. I spent the day distracted and kind of anxious actually. And what happened here was that each time you wore the item and it smelled fine when you took it off and you put it away to wear it again because you didn't think it needed laundering, it was actually collecting bacteria that whole time. And so the day that it started to really smell not great, or you started to smell not great, it was actually just a response because you sweat. I used to just keep deodorant in my bag and like apply it on top of my sweaty self when this would happen. But now I realize things need to be washed before they seem like they need to be washed. So make sure that you're laundering your clothes before it's obvious that they need to be washed, and that will prevent the problem before it starts. I love purses so much. I've been wearing one since I was like 8 years old. Also, I carried a purse through high school and I used to hide my textbooks in each classroom. Not ideal. But I did learn something. The state of your handbag is something that you reflect consciously or unconsciously as a reflection of you. Likely, if it's in a good condition, you feel that that reflects well on you. So it's a worthwhile thing to take care of it. Your purse, I mean. Clean out the outside of your handbag, clean out the inside. Also, take some time to do what I'm going to do here and optimize and organize what's inside. Now, from a hygiene perspective, of course, this is like, we don't want it to be like dirty. So remove the garbage, the old receipts, just things that just generally are not ideal to have in there. Now, already this feels so much better because my purse is clean. Yay, it's such a good feeling, but we can take it farther. We can make our purse more supportive. See, what's in the handbag should not be a reflection of who you were yesterday. It should be a collection of items that support the version of you that's coming tomorrow. So when I remove everything I didn't need, I see this little pile and it actually is calling out for a little notepad and a pen, and I realize I don't have any sunscreen, so I add in these extra items that are really obvious that I might need. But wait, we can take it a step further. There's items in here that don't need to be as heavy, or they don't need to be, basically we're going to optimize what's inside the bag. Now, if you ever get those like gift with purchase little pouches, this is a perfect item to use for this. I'm going to separate the items into two categories. Things I might need regularly and things will go in the pouch that I don't need regularly, like things I might reach for every 2-3 weeks, but I don't want to remove them from the bag. I just don't need them floating around the bottom. So they'll live in this little pouch and it's so organized. It just feels like you won $1 million by organizing things and having them live like that. Like I just feel like I'm literally on cloud nine when I have this type of organization. I'm going to take it a step further and optimize what's inside. This is a little more creative. Like I have a bottle and I need to carry this perfume with me because it makes me happy to do that, but it's really heavy. So I found this little thing. It's actually really cool. You can take the top off of your perfume without ruining it. That is okay to do. And I found this little bullet. It's like so cool. And on the bottom of it, there's like a little hole that fits perfectly into any universal perfume. And you align it on top of that little nozzle of your perfume and pump it over top until the perfume actually goes into the bullet. So now I can carry my perfume with me, and this will have like a couple weeks of spraying, and then I don't have to worry about how heavy it is. It's super light. I'm also going to optimize something in my bag, which are like these little headphones, by making them look cuter. It makes them easier to find. It makes me feel like I'm very like cohesive, because it is, to have my matching wallet and my headphones. Like this is so, to me, I used to look at this stuff when I would see somebody have like matching stuff. I'd be like, wow, like she just has her life together or something. But I realized as I got a little bit older and I bought things that didn't match, I realized it made my mind feel so much more chaotic. So I like having things be cohesive, not because I'm like fancy, but because it simplifies what I have to look at. And I like that. It makes me feel more confident and prepared. And ultimately, it actually just makes my nervous system a lot more calm, which has benefits beyond style. I found the world of purse inserts. You can find different sizes to categorize and organize what's inside your bag. And the cool thing is the insert can come out and go into a different purse very easily. So you can change bags if you like to do that. These items don't feel like they're just self-indulgent or like extras. They're actually very supportive, and you deserve to have things like that in your freshly cleaned out handbag. I used to always come out of the shower when I was young with very dirty hair still, and I'd be so frustrated and confused because like I just washed my hair, but it's dirty. There's a few reasons this happens. Muscle memory is the first most obvious one. This is going into the shower like, I'm going to wash my hair today. So you just kind of start thinking about what you're going to do. Or if you're going to text that person back, oh, you didn't text them back, like whatever. You're just physically on autopilot, mentally preoccupied. And that means the same force and effort and areas you scrubbed last week or next Wednesday are the same areas each time. And that's why buildup happens in other areas that haven't been addressed. And I like scalp zoning for this. Now you can turn shampooing your hair, of course, into this mindfulness activity if you want. But if you do scalp zoning, you really can still be on autopilot. You just have a system that's going to be a surefire way you get a great result when you finish with your hair. To zone your scalp, you look at it in 4 sections: the crown of your head, the base, side, and side. First, I get my hair completely wet so that the shampoo will be as effective as it needs to be. And then I address each area, all 4, separately, using a portion of shampoo, not the same amount I would use if I was just spreading it all over my head. I use a smaller amount, and both palms go in to address the first portions, which are the sides. The top of your head, where your part is actually the most sensitive since it sees the most sunlight. So I connect the sides with that shampoo lather, and I bring it all the way up to the top, but I don't directly apply a ton of shampoo up here since I don't really need it. I don't rinse anything out. I'm going to take another portion and do the base of my hair. I'm applying the shampoo until I start to feel the lather. That's really important. If you feel like you need more shampoo, just dip your hair underneath the shower water really quickly for like 1 second in and out, and that will re-lather and help to activate your shampoo. So now I've done the first 2 zones on the sides and then the base. Now it's time to do the last one, which is the crown area. And this is the like hardest to see and the hardest to reach. So I leave it for last because I just find that it makes it simpler, but you could start with this area since it is more difficult. I left all of the shampoo in this far, so I'm gonna lather it all together, and I know my scalp is super clean. Rinse it out and follow up with a mask or a conditioner, whatever you normally do. By doing this, you always, there's never any surprises. When you finish cleansing your scalp, you style your hair, you don't go to touch it and then go, oh my God, I missed a spot. This is how I get my scalp flake free, never any surprises, super fresh, and of course my hair smells amazing when I do this. If you find that you have that like private battle with hygiene where it's like not a battle, but you just feel like disconnected from doing it, and I know like it feels weird because not being able to shower or it's uncomfortable. Like it's not something that we feel comfortable to say to other people that we're struggling with, but I completely understand you, whether it's because you just are procrastinating or you're going through something really difficult and you're just preoccupied. Try getting a new shower gel, a new loofah, just do something to make it exciting for yourself, or try these systems and hopefully you will be re-inspired and re-motivated. I hope you learned some cool new tricks today, and just remember, like, it's always okay to learn something new. Don't ever feel stressed that you didn't know something before. That goes for anything. It's your decision to learn, and that is really cool, actually. I commend you for that. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Share it with somebody who might value this information too. I can't wait to see you in my next video. I love you so much. Have a great night or day or whatever. Even if time doesn't exist right now, just feel good, okay? Because you're cared about. So yeah, these ones, because they're like meant for a younger audience, but actually works for like if you're like 28 and you're like, oh, I actually never thought of that little tip. So the visuals are a little bit more like exciting and fun. Like some of these transitions and stuff are just like more cutesy, and I love having fun.
This is so good.
Isn't it cute? Like just fresh and like exciting. Like, yeah, crap under your nails, how to fix these different problems. Yeah, I really love the like colors. I think that's what's inspiring me mainly right now. And what I wanted to kind of like say to you, James, so that we keep this as like a grounded idea. As we do the visuals, I want to really focus on a neurodiverse mind, somebody who isn't necessarily just finding it easy to like get up and brush their teeth and brush their hair because their mind is, maybe they have ADHD or OCD or anxiety disorder or something that just kind of like takes up so much space that hygiene is actually quite difficult. So I kind of want to keep in mind that like the person watching this might need more visual support, might need like more connection between the tips and what they're seeing is super important, so that the people watching or the girl watching can kind of like really understand and her brain can fully absorb like why and how this is important. Because I think that's one of the biggest things. Like we all know how to fix our life in theory, but it's like sometimes these tips stretched out are so much more effective.
And for you to like lay it out in front of people and to be like, this is a list. Sometimes it can be overwhelming to think about, I have to clean my house, I have to clean my kitchen, I have to clean the bathroom. But when you break it down in a more digestible, and in this case, visually appealing way.
Right.
Big sister.
Right. That's like my underlying motivation for this video.